Did you know that the divorce rate in 1981 was at an all-time high of 53%? Even now, in 2021, the divorce rate is still at an alarming 45%. Would anyone like to guess why that is? I believe it's because people aren't taking the time to fully get to know one another in an intimate and personal manner, and this has become a continuous problem within marriages. Now, when I say intimate, I don't mean sexual. I mean, by definition, closely acquainted. Now, how is it that we're supposed to achieve this level of intimacy? I believe that the best way is by living together before getting married. Hello, everyone. I'm Jasmine Davis, and I want to help you understand why it is important for couples to live together before getting married. I understand that there are opposing views on this topic, but by the time I'm done, you will have all the necessary information on why it is important to cohabitate before getting married. First, what is cohabitation? Cohabitation is two people living in the same household. As mentioned before, getting to know one another before marriage is a huge factor. How is it possible for you to get to know what you love and do not love about a person if you quickly jump into a marriage before ever having the chance to live together? This isn't the early 1900s anymore. The United States isn't in an era where marriages are arranged, and the standards of dating and marriage aren't the same as they were in the early 18 and 1900s. We need to be able to get to know our potential significant other on a personal level. Everyone has pet peeves when it comes to their living arrangements. For some people, these can be deal breakers in a relationship. This is definitely true in my case. Has anyone ever heard of the 5 stages of dating? They are attraction, reality, commitment, intimacy, and lastly, engagement. Now, in theory, this is the order of operations, but not always. What is true is that the attraction phase will always come first. Somewhere between the attraction phase and the engagement phase is a phase known as the cupcake phase. The cupcake phase is the first few weeks to months of your relationship where you're extremely cute, giddy, and over affectionate with your partner. This is also the time frame where you tend to annoy your friends. However, the point is, this phase always comes to an end. At the point where you overcome the cupcake phase, you tend to remove the blinders that you had in place and begin to see the positive and negative traits of your partner. The upside to living together is that you will always see these traits sooner than if you weren't living together. This is the time where you truly decide whether the relationship is something you would like to move forward with or not. Whether you could get past the positive and negative traits or not. According to the Journal of Family and Marriage, this passage reads, "The results show that in the first year of marriages, couples who cohabitated before marriage have a lower marital dissolution rate than couples who did not cohabitate before marriage. A difference may be due to the practical experience of cohabitation, as couples who have cohabitated learn to adapt to each other." Once you've decided that you can live with the positive and negative traits of your partner, next comes your time to hash out any early difficulties in the relationship. This means learning how to problem solve together, deal with different personalities, and make mistakes and learn from them before getting married. During this next step, you're provided with the necessary time to get acquainted and comfortable with each other's living styles. This will also provide you with another layer of confidence that if this person is truly the one for you. It will be very hard for you to determine this if you are not living together. The most important benefit of cohabitation is that if you determine that your current partner isn't the one for you, when the time comes again, you'll be a step ahead because you'll already know what you do and do not want in a partner based on your last relationship. Some of these steps are much more difficult to accomplish if you do not live with your partner before marriage. The goal is to always get married eventually, nevertheless. According to Pew Research Center, Over 50% of the population is accepting of cohabitation, giving the end result is getting married. The same can be said for couples who do not plan to get married. It is still at an overwhelming 45%. Cohabitating has become widely accepted in the U.S., and the goal of marriage is still ever present. Which brings me to my next topic of people who do not live together before marriage. Only about 30% of the population do not cohabitate before marriage, and the reasons can vary a great deal. However, in today's society, we've begun to get married for entertainment. For instance, Married at First Sight or the 90 Day Fiancé shows. Although they are technically reality television shows, those marriages are still real and documented within the courthouse. Almost none of those marriages survive outside of the shows. I believe it is all in part due to the fact that they never once lived in the same household beforehand. And before you assume that it's all for show, those marriages count within the statistics. It definitely begs the question of whether those marriages would have actually worked out had they had the opportunity to live together. Marriage is still a huge commitment to over half the population even now. With that being said, there's not many people, if any, that would say they would want to be married more than once. It's no one's dream to get married, then divorce, only to remarry over and over again. The goal is to find that one special person in the beginning and the rest be history, right? Well, how do we accomplish this? Really, there's a lot of answers to that question. But first, the major step is living together during the relationship phase before marriage. I don't see how any other way could make sense in this matter. As I near the end of my speech, I hope you've heard enough to consider living together in your next relationship before you get married. I came across this quote by Kate Langley Bosher the other day, and it reads, "When there's enough love, you can stand anything. When there isn't, you can stand nothing." Living together every day, you find out a lot that you didn't know, and love can't keep still. It's got to grow or die. I challenge you to apply this quote to your next relationship while cohabitating. As she said, it will either grow or die. But the fact of the matter is that at least you were able to figure it out while living together before getting married. Because remember, divorce is not cheap. Thank you.